Welcome back to my channel. We're taking you today on another neighborhood tour, this time Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach. They share a town center, which is where I'm standing right now. We'll tell you a little bit about that. And then stick around, we're gonna tell you the differences between both communities. Let's get started. So like I mentioned, the Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach Town Center separates the two beaches. You'll actually see the signs on either side of the road, with Atlantic Boulevard being the dividing line. This is a great place to start and highlight some of the similarities between both communities. And aside from the obvious shopping and restaurants, you are steps away from Atlantic Beach. So if you're waiting for a dinner reservation, or maybe just want to relax and watch the sunset, you are literally walking distance to Atlantic Beach. Great place to hang out with your friends. So you've decided to come down to Atlantic Beach for the weekend, maybe with your friends or family. Just know that parking can be a bit of a hassle. You have to pay for it. It's very limited. My hack with parking is they have valet service. If you go to one of the restaurants, you get your card validated, it's free. So keep that in mind. Meza, North Beach Fish Camp, Ragtime, a few of those restaurants allow that free valet parking. So you've parked and there's ample things to do right at your fingertips. One of the little known gems here in Atlantic Beach is that you can actually have a bonfire on the beach. It is exclusive to Atlantic Beach, not Neptune Beach. However, there are some restrictions in regard to the time of year because of the sea turtles, and you do have to have a permit, but it's a great event for friends, family. Now, before I dive into a little bit more about the beach's town center, a lot of people call Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach home. I personally live in Jacksonville Beach. I know the area very well. I'm a local realtor here. If I can help guide you on how you yourself can call this place home, email me directly at info@theroccogroup.com. Always here to answer any questions for you. Now let's talk about the restaurant scene here at the beaches. So there is North Beach Fish Camp, which is one of my favorite places for seafood, maybe a nice glass of white wine. Right next door is Flying Iguana, great margaritas, guacamole, good Tex-Mex. There's Hawkers, which is a great Asian street food restaurant. They have great wings. Their roti is also my favorite. Meza is an excellent choice for some Italian cuisine. There's a new restaurant. It's not really new, but it's been newly renovated. It's called Sliders. Great oyster bar. On the other side of the street, you'll have Pete's Bar, which has become quite the rage as of recently because they created a whole new back area for some outdoor entertainment. There's also a great little local bar called Lemon Bar. If you haven't heard of it yet, you should definitely check it out. On the Atlantic Beach side, you have a lot of options as well. You have Coop 303, Ragtime, Poe's Tavern. There's a great little spot for custard called Wits. There's also La Petite, which is a French cafe. It's new, it's exciting. There's a great donut place, lots of options. And lastly, don't forget the barbecue sticks. It's a little Filipino, small little quaint little spot for you to grab some great skewers, pork, chicken, what have you. Lots to choose from. Now, aside from the shopping and the restaurants, there's a lot of conveniences here right around the corner. Just a mile away, you'll see CVS, Publix, Winn-Dixie. Somewhat unusual for beach towns to have those modern conveniences so close. A lot of the locals really appreciate the fact that they could ride their bike or maybe their golf cart to some of those stores. Next, we're gonna take you to Neptune Beach and show you some things to do there. So we're out here in Jarboe Park, which is really a staple for Neptune Beach and the neighboring communities. Also, all over Jacksonville, people will come here because there's so much to do. We have the recently renovated pickleball courts, tennis courts, volleyball, which is my favorite, basketball, great areas for just sitting around the pond, maybe watching the ducks or reading a book. There's so much to do. It's really a great place to just come and relax, come with the family, friends, and have some fun. So one of the awesome things about Jarboe Park is the pickleball. So we're here mid-morning on a Thursday. As you can see, there's a lot of people playing. It's a great place to get started because they do welcome beginners, whereas some places are a little bit more advanced, so you might not feel as welcome. So if you're into the pickleball craze, this is probably a great place for you to come hang out and get started. So when you're entering Atlantic Beach and Neptune Beach, you're going to come up Atlantic Boulevard, and right over the bridge, you're going to be welcomed by this amazing preserve called Dutton Island Preserve. It's extremely peaceful. The sunsets are exquisite. There's so much to do here. You can paddleboard, kayak, fish. Now, It is on the Atlantic Beach side, but naturally Neptune Beach residents certainly frequent it pretty often. Now there are two things I want you to be aware of. There are oyster beds that you want to be careful of because they are very sharp, and when the tide rises, they're not exactly visible on your paddleboard or on your kayak, but if you were to flip or run into those, it might damage something, so be cautious of that. And if you're not an advanced paddler, you don't want to get too far out into the intercoastal because the current may take you and it could be more difficult to make it back. Now we're off to our next stop. With so many benefits and perks to being in Neptune Atlantic Beach, you might be curious, what would it be like to live here? The closer you are to the town center, naturally it's going to be a bit more lively, a bit more people out and about. But as you start going further, north or south, whether it's Atlantic Beach or Neptune Beach, you'll see it's pretty peaceful, pretty quiet. A lot of people kind of stay to themselves. There will be a lot of people out walking, biking, maybe rollerblading because it is an active community. But aside from that, it's pretty peaceful. Really on First Street and the streets closer to the beach, you're not really gonna see a lot of through traffic. So you'll find that there's a lot of people that use it for exercise, walking, biking, skating. So in the greater Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach area, you're going to see some great architecture. And the architecture will be mainly coastal, maybe a little Mediterranean, but more so coastal vibes, coastal flair. You'll have the cedar shakes, the stucco, maybe some Mediterranean tile roofs, something like that. So if you're asking yourself, would it be a great place to invest, such as short-term rentals, it differentiates a little bit between Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach. So it's not going to be the place where you get the nightly renters, which can be a good thing, and a lot of the local homeowners really appreciate that. But you'll get some of the executives or maybe someone in the medical field that's staying for at least 30 days, 90 days in Atlantic Beach. So keep that in mind. However, it's still a great place to invest. So in Neptune Beach, the primary housing type is going to be single family homes. There will be some multifamily as well, whereas in Atlantic Beach, you'll find some variations such as condos, townhomes, and of course, single family as well. So the beach communities that I've highlighted today are on the north end of Jacksonville beaches. If you went south, you'd run into Ponte Vedra Beach, St. Augustine Beach, and so on and so forth as you go down. One of the things that the individuals that live here and visit here love is the accessibility to so much in the greater Jacksonville area, such as the airport is just a little bit north. If you head south to Jacksonville Beach, you're close to JTB, which takes you to Interstate 295, which is accessible to everything else. There's a great St. John's Town Center there. Lots to do collectively. You're tucked away at the beach. You have the privacy, the community here, but you're super close to everything that Jacksonville has to offer. So you've watched the video up until this point and you're thinking, I actually want to possibly live there. I love the community, the aspect of it all. Well, you'll want to know that there are some difficulties in buying housing here, because let's face it, no one's really leaving because it's such a great area. So you'll want to be partnered with a team of experts that really know the area, maybe even know of properties that are selling before they hit the market, because the locals all talk. If someone's moving, maybe there's another local that wants the home. But if you're moving here, you'll want to be partnered with a team of experts that are boots on the ground, that will door knock, maybe even send letters to sellers wondering if they're selling. So that way you get a home before it even hits the market. If that's you, I'd love to help you. Email me at info@theroccogroup.com. Give you all the details. Well, that wraps up our neighborhood tour for today. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, give it a like below and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all things Jacksonville and Northeast Florida related, so we can be the resource for you.